Look, Josh.
Yeah.
You don't need a Disney cap.
I'm gonna punch you in your face.
See, guys, this is abuse.
Look.
This is why this is being filmed currently.
I'm the talent, alright?
No. Hold on. No. So you've got to crack it open, have you?
Yeah, I've got
No, hold on.
Crack one open. Alright. Well, you know, hold on.
We are filming, but
Yeah, I know.
Do you want to make it a bit more dramatic?
No. Just cracking one open with the boys. Crack open a cold one with the boys. Hello, dear audience, and welcome to the first in a new series I'm going to be doing. Theme park reviews, or should I say, theme park review. Was that a funny joke, Jess?
Yeah, that's a really funny joke.
I am a big fan of theme parks, especially ones based on movie properties, so I wanted to express that love that I have in a series of videos. And when better to start than right after I've gotten back from Disneyland Paris. Disneyland Paris is widely renowned as one of the most unique Disney parks in the world. For better or worse, this park is somewhat different from any other park around the world. The park consists of three areas: the Disney Village, Walt Disney Studios, and the Disneyland Park. The first thing we're going to look at is the Disney Village. This is the smallest area and an area you can get into without a ticket. This area is mostly a shopping area and kind of acts as a bridge between the on-site hotels and the main parks. The village has not one, but two Disney stores. One of which, the World of Disney, is the biggest store in the entire of Disneyland Paris. Other stores include the always entertaining Lego store, Disney Fashion for ladies with plenty of money to spend, an arcade, a beautiful Disney gallery, and the Planet Hollywood shop. Speaking of Planet Hollywood, there are also plenty of places to eat in the Disney Village.
I'm sorry.
You know what? I'm gonna have to fire you if you don't get from me. Speaking of Planet Hollywood, there are also plenty of places to eat in the Disney Village. For instance, the Rainforest Cafe, which is, in my opinion, one of the best Rainforest cafes in the world. The aforementioned Planet Hollywood, a sports bar, New York sandwiches, and the Earl of Sandwich, Cafe Mickey, and the 50s themed Annette's Diner. These eateries vary in quality, with the best being Rainforest and maybe Planet Hollywood, and with New York Sandwich and Cafe Mickey kind of just being okay, but still, still a good bite. Finally, for the Disney Village, there's also plenty to see. With an IMAX cinema, a hot air balloon, and the incomparable Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Tell them about Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, Jess.
Man.
Thanks for that insight. All in all, Disney Village is mostly just a good place to go and get a meal, maybe at the end of the day. Good place to go shopping if you want to get some other things. But it doesn't really have anything in the shops that you won't find in the main parks. It's relatively good in terms of variety of food. The only thing that I can think of that they don't have is like sushi or some like really Eastern foods. They mostly focus on like Mexican food, American food, Italian food. I don't think the idea of the village is that people are going to be spending all their time there. But do try to get into Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. It is definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's a great night out. It's time to have a drink break. You want to hit?
Yeah, hold on.
You want to hit this? So that's the Disney Village covered. Pretty small. It's just a couple hours of your time, I'd say. It's just a couple hours, really, and you can pretty much cover the Disney Village. Next up, though, is Walt Disney Studios, which I believe is widely regarded as being one of the worst Disney parks around the world.
Why? I loved it.
Oh, it's a fun... If anything, that just shows the quality of the Disney parks around the world, because it's still a great day out, the Walt Disney Studios
Well,
Park.
it's like the best one because we had fun.
You thought it was
all-
better than the main park?
No, but it was like more consistently good.
I don't know.
found
I
all
would
the rides
disagree with
really
that.
good.
It's widely regarded to be one of the worst Disney parks around the world, but hopefully the upcoming €2 billion expansion to the Walt Disney Studios Park will fix a lot of the issues people have with it.
What are you filming over there for?
Because I'm doing it.
How about you start off with me again? So they have a lot of events there every few months. You know, they've had the season of the forest, and when we went, they had Marvel, and they have a lot of Christmas events, and obviously the Illuminations on. And the Marvel was pretty amazing. They had the Guardians of the Galaxy dance-off, they had the Stark Expo, which you didn't see much of. But they did have the Avengers show, which was in a massive auditorium, and it was choreographed fight, really. So there's 3 other shows that go all year round. There's Art of Animation in the studio, there's Mickey the Magician, and there's... what's the other one?
Motors Action?
Motors Action, which is a stunt show in a massive, like, arena, I would say. They have a studio camera and everything. And there's Armageddon, which is kind of like a show, but it's set out in the same way as a ride. It's more of a effect show. You're sitting in a room, there's things blowing up and stuff. But a lot of these are getting removed to replace with Frozen the Star Wars. Other than that, rides-wise, they have the Tower of Terror, they have Crush's Coaster, and they have a lot of Cars and Toy Story rides, which are pretty generic, you know, just drops, small coasters. However, the Ratatouille ride is something quite new. It's a lot of more technology. It's trackless, there's screens, there's effects with, you know, heat and water, air and everything. Speaking of Ratatouille, there's a lot of restaurants. So it's the Ratatouille restaurant, obviously. There's a lot of mini little cafes you can go into, 50s themed, with, you know, kind of the car aesthetic going on. And there's various Hollywood themes, like Restaurant with the Stars, I think it was called.
Yeah, Restaurant des Stars.
Yeah, it's a very, very bad French accent. This part definitely isn't as bad as some people make out. The rides are really fun still. I mean, I found it really consistently good the whole way through.
Even Crush?
Huh?
Even Crush?
Crush. It was... the only kind of scary bit is that you're spinning
It's
and
not
turtle
really.
shell.
I'm saying, like, I didn't find Crush that good.
No.
You can see, like, the whole studio around you.
Yeah, it wasn't very well decorated. You can kind of see where the track goes, but I kind of like that
It's
in a
still
way.
fun. It's still fun.
Yeah, I don't think I would have been able to manage with the spinning and the going up and down and everything if I couldn't see the track, because you know it was coming. It was a bit more bearable. The tram tour is quite good. They're removing it to, again, replace it with Star Wars and the Frozen, but it's another kind of effect show. That's kind of the theming of the Studios Park. And theming is generally in effects and how films are made in the Studios Park, as opposed to just entertaining you. However, I'd say a lot of the rides strike a very good balance between education and entertainment, because they're set out like normal rides. It feels like you're, you know, just doing anything you do in the other parks, but you're still finding out how things are made in an immersive way. So as I was saying, the park is good. I wouldn't spend more than a day there, because while there are lots of good rides, there's not as many as the others for sure. But it's a great day out. It's very well themed in buildings and structures. There's a lot to look at, but it's just not as big or as worthy as the other parts. So we're really just going into that one.
Okay, now that we've done those 2 areas, now we have the big bad, the main park, Disneyland Park, Paris. The entrance to this park is overlooked by the Disneyland Hotel. We were lucky enough to be overlooking the park from our room and had a great view of the Illuminations display. But But the best view, I think, we didn't get to see it, but I think the best view would be from within the park itself. Seeing it all happen so close up, I imagine, is really breathtaking, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of it got kind of blocked by buildings in front of us anyway, even though we could see the castle well.
But with the main park, it is split into 6 sections, and I'm gonna tackle each of those individually. Beginning with Main Street, USA, Paris, France. When you get into the park, you'll be greeted by the idyllic sight of Main Street, USA. Here you can find some of the finest shops in all of Disneyland. Here they sell just about everything that you'll want to find in the parks. I'd recommend looking at some of the art and snow globes in Harrington's.
Harrington's is the best shop.
Along this street you can also see the magnificent castle, and in my opinion one of the better looking Disneyland castles in the world. And at the very end of the street you'll reach our second area, the Central Plaza. From here you can see the entrances to each section of the park. Frontierland, Adventureland, Discoveryland, and Fantasyland.
And Disneyland.
Good one.
Meme review!
Now we can get into the main themed areas of the park, starting over at Fantasyland and the castle.
I'm sorry, but can you flatten out Mickey's face?
What? Now we can get into the main themed areas of the park, starting with Fantasyland and the castle. Inside the castle, and you can go inside this castle, you can't do that at many of the other Disney parks.
Any?
I don't think any, no. But underneath the castle, you can find a truly awesome dragon, which you can encounter. And you can go into Merlin's apothecary, I believe it's called, and go get some magic wands, some, tiara, crown things. And in the top of the castle, you can find the story of Sleeping Beauty, which is told through some pretty impressive
stained glass windows.
Yeah, stained glass windows. They're pretty cool. Here in Fantasyland, you can ride the ever terrifying Small World. Disney classic dark rides like Peter Pan, Pinocchio, and Snow White. Personally, I don't think Pinocchio's that great. It's not as good as the other two. But
Peter Pan's the best one.
Peter Pan is definitely the best one. But Peter Pan always has really long lines, so be aware of that. You can go on the carousel. Dumbo, Casey Jr., that one boat ride that no one ever remembers is there at the back. Remember that?
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah, we didn't go on it. I did tell you about it when we went past Alice's Labyrinth, which is something else you can do in Fantasy.
Yeah, we didn't do that either.
What, the Labyrinth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. The Labyrinth is cool. It has animatronics and things inside it, which are pretty cool. Some nice flowers. But overall, I think Fantasyland is probably, in my opinion, one of the least interesting areas of the park. But it's definitely not devoid of things to do. There are things to do, but you're not going to be spending oodles of time there, and it's not visually the most interesting one, but it does have some fantastic looking buildings, all very European. Apparently different buildings represent different countries in Europe, one of them, some represent England, some represent Germany, some represent France, etc. Which is pretty cool. And overall it kind of feels like what they were trying, it feels like a really pure representation of how the parks would have been when they first opened back when Walt himself was alive. Especially with those 3 classic dark rides. Next up is the TARDIS-esque Adventureland. I say that because travelling through the caves and the bridges and the ships here, it feels way bigger than it could possibly actually be. There's just, in Adventureland, the majority of your time is going to be spent just walking around through the caves, along the bridges, and it's really fun. There's lots to see, including, should I tell them about the statues?
Which statues?
The art statues?
No, they're secrets.
Yeah, there's lots of secrets to find. It does also have Pirates of the Caribbean, one of the best rides there, and one of my personal favourite versions of Pirates of the Caribbean. Has one of the best lines, and it just generally is a very, very good version of Pirate. It's pretty good. You can also find a small Morocco-esque area based on, I think, Aladdin. There's somewhere to eat there. And you can also do a walk around of the story of Aladdin. But the majority of your time in Adventureland is going to be spent walking around and exploring the caves and the rivers and all sorts. There's plenty of waterfalls that you can stare at. They're really fun. But now we're down to the last two areas of Disneyland Paris, and I have to say they're the two best areas in my opinion. The first being an area that is in other parks, but I must say that Disneyland Paris does it especially well. Frontierland exists in this park, and it's amazing. Thunder Mesa is a genuinely interesting area with one of the most endearing atmospheres I've ever seen in a theme park area. And supposedly, this whole area has a combining story, which I won't give away. It's also got some really, really well-stocked shops with just about everything you can want. It's got a little cocoa area currently. They might have removed that at some point though. And it's got some really solid rides. It's got two rides. It has Big Thunder Mountain, which is always really fun and always really good to look at, and the amazing Phantom Manor, which is Paris's version of the Haunted Mansion. It's a slightly darker version of the Haunted Mansion, but it's still Haunted Mansion. And it fits into the supposed story of Thunder Mesa. It's one of the most important parts. There's also the riverboat, which you can ride around Big Thunder Mountain on.
Oh, I didn't get scorn because you're seasick.
Yeah, and I get seasick, so we didn't go. And the shooting gallery, which we didn't do because, come on, when you've got Big Thunder Mountain, you're not going to do a shooting gallery, are you? You're going to do Big Thunder Mountain. Finally, is a land unique to Disneyland Paris. A land based off the works of Jules Verne and George... Jess, how do you pronounce his last name?
I don't know.
Méliès? George Millimeter. George Millennial. Paris has no Tomorrowland. Instead, it has Discoveryland, which is, in my opinion, the best land. And I'll explain why in a bit. It's not quite as solidly themed as Frontierland, but it has a really unique theme with this amazing blimp and the Orbitron, which is this weird thing covered in orbs, which all obviously orbit around each other. And there is even a walk-around Nautilus attraction from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which was really good, didn't you think?
Alright.
I think it's really good. There's also the always fun, especially right now, Star Tours, which is, they've recently updated it so that the ride is randomized. There's like 60 different variations of the ride or something. And there is the always competitive Buzz Lightyear's Laser Blast, which is just so much fun.
Space Mountain, boy!
And finally, there is the mess of concepts that is the still fun Hyperspace Mountain. Even though it still has a lot of the theming from Space Mountain Mission 2 and from the Earth to the Moon, it's just like all three of those rides kind of jumbled together. But once you get on the ride and it starts moving, it's very clearly Star Wars themed. It's the fastest ride in the park, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
definitely. And it's very fun. I'd recommend it if you're not afraid of roller coasters too much.
Hey, I was afraid of roller coasters, and there's 3 inversions, and I only felt one, and it was fine.
It was fine. But to be fair, we also went on Tower of Terror, and I was fine. I didn't even feel it.
Shut up, Josh.
I didn't even realise we were moving.
Shut up, Josh.
Ugh. Discoveryland is my favourite area because it probably has the highest ride to space ratio of any of the other areas in the park. It has 4 major rides. I mean, even Frontierland, which is my second favourite, only has 2. So, take that as you will. It also has the Star Wars Boutique, which is one of the best shops in all of Disneyland. It's great. It's really fun. And that just about covers Disneyland Paris. And overall, it's a pretty good park. It's pretty great. It's a fantastic for a good 4 days out, I'd say. 4 days would be the perfect amount of time to spend at Disneyland Paris.
I don't know, I reckon 5 because we didn't really do the village.
There's not much to do in the village.
Yeah, but arcades and the pools and stuff.
4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Let's make it
4.5.
Let's make it 3 nights, 4 nights, 3 or 4 nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be perfect. The Disneyland Paris is much better than a lot of people give it credit for, especially after, you know, the whole Euro Disney thing. I'd say in about 4 or 5 days you could probably see and do just about everything and have a little bit of time to spare. But if you stay longer, you could go out and visit Paris, which is also very beautiful.
Hello. It is I.
52.
Mrs. Bad Hair.
On the same scale that I used to rank movies and games, I give this park a green.
No.
It would get a gold.
No.
But I think just the Disneyland park gets a gold. But I think the other 2 areas, the village and the studios area, they're great, but they're not quite on the same level of greatness as the
Well,
main
you know
park.
what, Josh?
Oh no.
You know what?
Oh no.
You know what? I give it a gold star. A girt big, cover the whole green screen, gold star. And you know what else, Josh?
Yeah.
You know what else?
Yeah.
I give you a girt big red star. Okay?
Why are you doing this?
Okay?
Get out of my head. I give it a green star.
I give it a gold star. Make your mind up. Who do you like more? Alright, bye!
That was great. Fantastic. Now I have to stop the recording.
Some people call me the space cowboy. Wicked wild west, desperado, rough rider. No, you don't want nada. There's 6 gunning this, brother running this. Buffalo, no.